Hello and welcome to Domy Tries This. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee cup is Mom, a little just above Queen coffee mug. This is a mug that I picked up during the Mother's Day stuff over at Kroger. They had a bunch of little coffee mugs with bears in them. This one did not have a bear, so I just got the mug and they gave me a really good price for it. Today's tea is Fusion Red, White, and Blueberry, which kind of works since we just got past the 4th of July weekend. It's a very light and fruity tea. It is 90 degrees out there though, so light and fruity may not work so much when it's hot. Let's see what happens. No change. Was hot before, still hot now. I did film something before this that's going up after this. You'll see the same outfit on Friday. Today, I'm going to update my project pan. I've got to say, I don't think I'm a very good panner. We'll get into that. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Tarte expansion of their Amazonian clay, which was my favorite foundation before they went off the rails. And I'm going to touch on the Kat Von D controversy. I know that's pretty stale tea by now. A lot of people have talked about it, but you know, as a mother of an autistic kid, I think I kind of have a slightly different take on it, just a little bit. Maybe just a little itty bitty bit. And we're going to leave that to the end because I will likely get quite irate, and I don't want to do that at the beginning of this. I want to have fun. We're back. We're having fun. It's been a minute. I mentioned that in the video that's showing up on Friday, that it has been a minute, and I'm just glad to be back because I have missed you guys so much. Anyway, so let's get started with my project panning. And like I said, I just don't think that I'm a very good project panner. When I do my project pans, one of the things I do is I pick a secondary palette to try to use during the next 3 months, 2 or 3 months that I'm doing the project pan. Last ones was the Urban Decay Urban Spectrum palette. I love this palette. I haven't used it very much. Not sure why. I kept it out where I would see it because a lot of times with the palettes, the problem is that they're buried, so I don't see them and then I don't use them because I got a lot of palettes. And I will be doing something that shows you all my palettes, but it does have a couple colors that I really love, and I have used some of those colors again recently, but I haven't used it as much as I thought I would. I'm actually going to not push myself to use it again. Since I'm still working on panning Tarte, this is going to get put away and I'm going to work on a different thing from Tarte. For panning, for the actual panning, I did actually finish 2 things up, more because they were small size and one by accident. So I finished up this Tarteist lip paint. I think this is their quick dry formula. There's still probably a little bit in there that I can dig up, but in general, it doesn't even apply well much anymore. So I'm counting this as done. So this is done. I have a few things in my chair that I mentioned last time, but I will put these all in that bag, and when we get to the end of the year, I'll go through the whole bunch at once. I also had received this free lip pencil in Latergram. There's a little bit probably still in there because I can get a line. However, most of this is pretty much gone. It doesn't come up anymore, and this is the one that broke. I actually wasn't very impressed with this. This line is pretty thin. The color actually doesn't really suit me that well, so I'm actually not going to miss this one at all, really. I haven't really done much with my as I completely blank out on you, Energy Noir palette anymore. I've used it a few times, but like I'm using my gel liner for the darker colors, and I have other things that I prefer in terms of color. I do try to use some of it sometimes, and it's going to stay out. However, it's probably not going to be a primary thing to pan, since the last time I updated, I had already panned one of it anyway. So it has hit, I have hit pan on one thing in here. I'm just probably not going to be working so hard on the rest of it for the next couple of months. I think I need a break from this one. The fact that I haven't used it tells me I need a break from this one. And then finally, on the actual stuff I've been panning is the Tarte Amazonian clay, which works really nicely to go into the next thing I'm talking about. I am pretty much almost done with this, and I don't know whether or not to consider it panned. I know there's still some in there, and this is like, what, a $39 foundation, so throwing it away seems like a waste. But the earliest I would be able to get to it is probably, again, it's probably like October or November, which would make it over a year old. So I may end up just not finishing it. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to have to look a few things up. I am keeping it tightly sealed, and I am holding on to it for now, and then we'll see where we go from there. They've expanded this one to 40 shades, but only this one. And I applaud them for making the effort and expanding one of their foundations, particularly one of their more popular foundations. But why didn't you expand the Shape Tape too? They have, that one only has 15 shades per line. And a lot of people are like, that's 30 shades. No, that is 15 shades per line. That is 15 in the matte and 15 in the dewy or whatever it is. Most of their other foundations have 20 shades or less. I think they have one with possibly 20, somewhere between 21 and 24. So, thank you for expanding this. It's not enough. It's not enough to bring me back to Tarte. It really isn't. To bring me back to Tarte, I'd need to see that Shape Tape, which should have been a more expansive line, expanded. And I would like to see some of the other ones also expanded. The other thing is that has nothing to do with the racism and the other issues that the foundation shades highlighted in the company, is that their shade selections for their eyeshadows tend to all be neutrals. So in all honesty, there's probably not a whole heck of a lot I would buy anyway now. I've got all my neutrals. If they expanded some of their other foundation shade ranges, and over the rest of this year we don't hear any more bullshit, I would consider going back to using the Amazonian clay. This was my favorite foundation. This works best for me. I would consider going back to using this and buying from Tarte again, but not before that. So honestly, I think we need to see that long-term change, and we need to see that expand their other foundations before we can say, okay, so maybe they have learned their lesson. Apparently everybody else has learned it for them. CoverGirl came out with 40 shades. A bunch of them have come out with 40 shades or more. There's a couple of them, I think, that came out with 42 or 44 or something like that. I'm both glad and happy and sad to see that that kerfuffle, that problem, that blow up, whatever you want to call it, did make other companies stand up and notice. We need Tarte to finish its job and expand the Shape Tape and expand some of the other stuff. And that also means that their new sister company, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's also a company that I won't be buying from because they're associated with Tarte. And until Tarte shows me that, yeah, we have learned the lesson and we're going to fix this. So, end of the year would be the earliest that I think that I would buy anything. And again, that will depend on whether or not they expanded any of their other foundation ranges, and we don't hear any more racist related issues from them for the rest of the year. So what am I going to be doing for my project pan? You guys are going to think I'm crazy. I think I'm crazy because quite obviously, if I'm not using this little guy and not getting through it and panning it any further than what I did, 2.5 months ago, then attempting to pan anything in this is nuts. This is their Treasure Under the Sea. Well, this was their Christmas release last year. It's gorgeous. I love it. It's beautiful. It has blushes. The highlighter isn't anything to write home about. It has some beautiful bronzers. I've loved all the colors in here. The only thing I have a problem with is how strongly it smells of vanilla. It has some beautiful shades in it, mostly neutrals, which is very tart. I don't expect to hit pan on any of these, but I would like to attempt to hit pan on at least one of the eyeshadows before the end of the year. Yeah, I think it's going to take me at least 6 months to get through this. So this is the biggest thing I'm going to try to pan. I'm still going to see what I can work on for the Energy Noir, but I'm not holding my breath. If I go back to the Amazonian clay in the winter, then hopefully I'll also get through that. And so those will be my pan projects for the rest of the year, pretty much. So my next update will be probably something like no change. I'm kind of doing something, but no change, because it's a lot. Like I said, I don't think I'm a very good project panner. Just don't. I did think about talking about the Kat Von D thing separately. And yeah, just put it in a ending of thing. Like I said, it is an old controversy for a lot of people. A lot of people have moved on. I haven't. I'm not going to. I had been planning on trying her Locket foundation. I won't now. I was interested in her 10th anniversary, the eyeshadow palette. Don't care now. Don't want it now. It was a beautiful palette. Not buying it. See, here's the thing. The whole anti-vax thing blew up initially because some doctor who wanted to sell his vaccines associated the FDA-approved vaccines with autism. He had his medical license revoked. Basically the whole thing got disproven and thrown in the trash. We have one paper that shows this. Dozens of other research has shown that vaccines have nothing to do with autism, and yet it is still a thing of the anti-vax community to link vaccines with autism. Now, in Kat Von D's statement about this, she did not explicitly say that she was not vaccinating because of fearing that her child would get autism. She might as well have. Because by supporting that movement, she supports, that's the main thing it was based on. So she is, even if she didn't think that it caused autism, she should have said, I'm not vaccinating, not because I think it causes autism, but because of this. She didn't do that. And for me, that's an issue. My son is a beautiful boy. Sorry. When he was diagnosed, it was at a time when people did not diagnose autism. He was initially diagnosed as being mentally retarded, having mental retardation. He's too smart for that, and we ended up taking him to a specialist who said, yeah, autism. And he has ADHD on top of that. He's a beautiful boy. We had a lot of issues and adjustments to make, and a lot of growing pains, and a lot of things that we had to learn to do differently for him that we didn't have to do for our girls. But honestly, that's true of almost every child. Every child's going to be different. We're lucky that he is considered moderate and high functioning. We are lucky that I pushed really hard to get him properly diagnosed, because at the time, like I said, nobody wanted to diagnose autism. So I pushed really hard to get him properly diagnosed. We are lucky that I decided when I went back to college as an adult to minor in psychology with a focus on special needs kids. And my particular focus was for my son's needs, autism, speech, motor skills, those things that he needed help with. And because of that knowledge, I was able to push for the things that he needed in school. We are lucky that when we moved from California to Georgia, we moved into a county that has a program specifically for autistic kids. Considering that he didn't even get diagnosed until he was 5 years old, we are very lucky with the outcome. He is social, he likes people, he can function. He can't live alone, he can't drive a car, he can't go to college. If he ever manages to find a job, he'll have limited hours because he just can't focus that long. But we are I realize we are very lucky with our outcome. It could have been a lot worse. There are a lot of people who have it a lot worse. But he's a beautiful boy, and through him, I have learned so much. I've learned so much about the things that kids go through to learn, just to talk, just to say the first words, mama or dada. I have learned. He is my pride. One of my prides. I'm proud of all my kids. And they've all had their struggles, but I think even they would admit that he has had to come the furthest to try to, if not fit in with our world, work within our world, to be able to function in our world. He's done an amazing job, and I have learned a lot. And so many people, they're afraid of autistic kids. And I understand that some of them are so much more severe than he is. But here's the thing. And here's the thing that really drives me crazy about anti-vax. Now, like I said, Kat Von D did not explicitly state anything. She should have said something if she didn't believe that vaccines cause autism. The whole rest of it is all science. We already know that vaccines have reduced polio, reduced measles. I got measles as a kid. I got mumps as a kid. I got those diseases. I'm lucky. A lot of people who got those diseases did not come out of them as undamaged as I am from those things. Those diseases can cause severe disabilities. They can cause death. So all of those people who are sitting there and saying, we don't need this anymore, pardon me, fuck you, we do. Because it's not just your child you're talking about. You're talking about a whole community of kids. You're talking about babies who are too young to be vaccinated. You are talking about people who are immune compromised and cannot be vaccinated. If the people around them are not vaccinated, they can catch those diseases, and you are literally saying, I don't fucking care about anybody else. That's what you're saying. As for the autism thing, and the reason I think that she should have at least said, I don't think they cause autism, if she doesn't think they cause autism. And if she has said that at some point somewhere, feel free to let me know down below. But here's the thing. The anti-vaxxer community has basically said, without actually saying it, understand, and I don't think any single one of them thought it through and said, yeah, that's what I believe. But this is what they're saying by saying that I won't vaccinate because it could cause autism. They are saying that their child being disabled in some other way or dead is better than having a child with autism. They're saying my lovely son, my son, who has blossomed and grown and taught his entire family wonderful things about growing up and about being a person. They're saying that he should be dead, that he should not exist. And that's fucking bullshit. People who choose not to vaccinate, if they don't think that vaccines lead to autism, should state that they don't think vaccines lead to autism. They should state that they are not vaccinating for other reasons. Because that whole movement was founded pretty much on the basis of vaccines cause autism. And for anyone to say that my child, my son, who is beautiful, who's amazing, who's come so far, who I've helped grow in his journey, has turned around and helped me grow in mine, who is the reason that I started trying to lose weight a dozen years ago, to say that he shouldn't exist? Fuck you. Fuck you. That's my boy. He'd be a whole different kid if he didn't have the autism. You're right. But honestly, considering the way the world is today, it actually kind of frightens me almost more as to how he would be if he didn't have the autism. He is a sweetheart now. He has his issues. He does. He doesn't always think straight. He can't consider other people all the time. Although he does. We've been told that when he was in school, he would help the girls out if they needed help. He would reach out to other people. This is an amazing thing for an autistic kid. So he has some of that. He just doesn't always judge how to use it. He has all of those wonderful qualities. And he has none of the hateful qualities as far as I know. He has things he doesn't like. He doesn't like salmon. But I've never seen him since we've started doing all this, I've never seen him be hateful towards anybody. I don't want him to be any other way. I know that Autism Speaks claims to want to cure it, and I understand why for some people that would be something that would be an option. There are a lot of kids out there that are practically unreachable because of their autism. But I don't want my son cured. I want him to continue to be the beautiful young man he is. And when you're willing to let your children die from a disease that is preventable, just to avoid having autism, you're saying my son shouldn't be. So, Kat Von D, fuck you. You are supporting this movement that says that my son should not exist. You are supporting a movement that is so afraid of vaccines that they're willing to let deadly diseases come back. I'm not buying your shit. I wanted to try it. I'm not going to now. Kat Von D is off my list. And honestly, I don't think she can ever get me to want anything of hers. I don't want to support a person who's putting her word, she has a huge following. She's going to influence all of these people. And a lot of them are going to follow her. Oh, Kat Von D didn't vaccinate her kids, so I'm not going to vaccinate my kids. And that's bullshit. When you have that much range, when you have that many followers, you need to be more responsible, not just for your own children, but for the whole world, for the people that you're influencing. You need to think about that. And I don't think she did. And to be honest, I've heard some other things. I come late to the party. My daughter told me about this. I have anemia and ADHD, which gives me like a memory lifespan of 0. But she's also said some anti-Semitic things. She's married an anti-Semitic person. So just the racism alone would have me pull back. But this isn't just pulling back. No locket, nothing of hers. I will buy nothing of hers. I know that's not everything for the anti-vax community, but that's what it started on, and that's what it distills down for me. Alrighty, we ended kind of heavy there. Taking a deep breath. I love you all. I really do, and I appreciate your support. If I lose some people over this, then I lose some people over this, because honestly, yeah, I've said it all. This is something that I cannot bend on. It's too important. And I'm going to move on now, because we're done. We're done. So, going to continue working on, well, this is pretty much the last of my tart, and I'm going to try to work a little bit more on this, although this is not going to be a primary thing for the next probably 6 months. This is. I did have some other Tarte blushes at one point, but I actually gave those to Project Beauty Share after all of this happened, so I don't have them anymore. So that's going to be my project pan for the next 6 months is this. I will try to update you on that, and, you know, we'll wait until, let's see, what is it, July now? We'll wait until October to do another update, because that's going to give me about 3 months to work through things. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And thank you for coming by. I hope you liked what you've seen. If you're new to the channel, this is your first visit to us, I'm not normally like that. Take a look at some of my other videos. You'll see that I'm not normally like that. I'm just very passionate about my son and protecting my son. So, and kids like him, and not seeing them as so abnormal, you know, anyway. So I hope you will come back, and, you know, on Friday I'm going to be back in this outfit in our new filming space. I'll talk about that a little bit in the next video on Friday. So I hope you'll come back and take a look at that. It's going to be my summer haul. And if not, well, I'm sorry to see you go. And if you do come back, I hope you will subscribe and hit the notification bell. And even if you don't forget to bring your cup of tea. I think I needed to put a little less sugar in this. It might be a little more refreshing that way.